Welcome to Raj Online Trainings in the series of Spring Framework and Spring Boot tutorial. In the previous videos, we have discussed about Spring Introduction and we have seen what are the modules present in Spring. So the modules present in Spring Framework are Spring Framework modules, very important. Remember the module names, Spring modules, like we are having Spring Core, Spring Context, Spring DAO, like you can say Spring JDBC, then Spring Web MVC, Spring ORM. So where we are going to integrate with Hibernate. So these are the modules. Today let us start off with the first and the basic module, Spring Core module. Let us start off with Spring Core module. Very important module, and this is the base module for Spring. This is the base module. Now, so what is this Spring Core module? Is Spring Core module is the base module for Spring Framework. This is the base module for Spring Framework. Then Spring Core module provides the fundamental concepts of Spring like the following, like IOC, which we call inversion of control, and one more very important one, dependency injection. Now let us initially understand about dependency injection. So what is this dependency injection? Very important term, dependency injection. Even we call DI means a dependency injection. Now, so to understand this, let us go with an example. Let us suppose we are having a card, a bank card, like debit card, credit card, like that. So we are having a card. Now, if you take a class bank, in this class bank, we are creating card object directly. We are creating the card object directly. So when you create this card object directly, then when you create the bank object, here, bank equal to new bank. So what is going to happen here is, it's going to create the bank object for us. It's going to create bank object. Since we have created here card equal to new card, we are using new keyword and we are creating object. So card object will be created under bank. So in this case, we say these two objects. In this case, these two objects we call them as tightly coupled. The objects what here? These two objects are tightly coupled. They are dependent. Means if anything happens to this card, this code will not work. The bank code will not work over here. Right? That's the main problem here. So that's the reason we say these two objects are tightly coupled. So in the above code, card object and bank object are tightly coupled. There. Now, and one more problem is, in future you may go with a debit card or credit card. So if I go with a debit card or credit card, again we have to come back to this bank class and update our code. That's the problem with this piece of code. So the card may be debit card or credit card. So when you modify the code, then again we have to come back to this bank class and we have to update the code based on the card here. That's a drawback with this piece of code. Now, here this is the place we go with one more approach, like we think in the terms of interface approach, polymorphic approach. So what we do is, we create one interface card and we are going to create the classes. We are going to create a class like credit card, which implements card, and we can even go with what? Class debit card, which implements card. So we are creating what? Two subclasses. One is credit card and debit card, which are of what type here? Card type. We are implementing this card interface. Now when you create the class bank, we just go with a property card. This is the property here. This we call it as property. Now here in this class bank, we create a constructor. We go with a constructor which takes card as reference, the argument, and here we'll say this dot card equal to card here. Now when you are creating the card object, when you create card object like card, debit card equal to new debit card, card DC equal to new debit card, and we can even say card CC equal to new credit card. So we are creating references DC and CC, and they are referring to which objects? Debit card and credit card here. Now when you create a bank object, bank B1 equal to new bank, and to this we'll pass this debit card object as argument, or we can even say bank B2 equal to new bank, and we'll pass CC object as an argument to this constructor. So here in this case, what is going to happen? It's creating your debit card object and it is creating your bank one object, and this debit card object is injected to your bank. Similar way, we are creating credit card object and we are having bank 2 object, and we are injecting this credit card object to B2. So we are giving this credit card object to B2. So this concept only we call dependency injection. This only we call what here? Dependency injection. We are injecting one object into another, and we are going to make use of what? A constructor here. So when you are using a constructor to inject one object into another, then we call it as constructor injection. We call it as what here? Constructor injection. We can even go with setter injection. Like example, you can say void set card, which takes card object as an argument, the reference, and here in this case we can say this dot card equal to card. So since we are using a setter method to give the value to the property, this is our property, we are giving the value to the property using setter method, we call it as setter injection. Even we call it as property injection. So in Spring, we can inject one object into another by using constructor injection or setter injection. So in this case, the objects are what? Loosely coupled here. So in the above code, card objects and bank objects are loosely coupled. Right? Then, so the main use of going with the dependency injection is used to develop loose coupled applications. It's mainly for what? To develop what type of applications? Loose coupled applications. Then, now what is the need of Spring over here? I can even write this code without using Spring also. I can even develop this code without using Spring. Then what is the need of going with Spring? Let us understand now. To understand the need of going with Spring, let us understand one concept called as life cycle of an object. So the life cycle of an object is like object creation, then object usage, then object destruction. Object destruction. We create object, we use the object, and finally, after using object, we are going to destruct the object. Now, object destruction is taken care by Java, as Java is automatic garbage collection. Since Java is automatic garbage collection, the destruction is taken care by Java only. But there is a drawback over here. The drawback is like, in Java, whenever we create objects, the objects are created where? In heap memory. In Java, the objects are created in heap memory, a part of RAM, a temporary memory. Let us suppose in the block of statements, so this curly brace, we call it as block or scope. This curly brace, we call it as block or scope. In this scope, let us consider we have created some objects like object 1, object 2, like that we are creating 100 objects. Let us suppose this object usage is completed within the scope only. Object usage is completed. So even the usage is completed, this object is not ready for garbage collection. So when the objects are ready for garbage collection, when they come out of scope. Once you come out of scope, the objects are ready for garbage collection. So here in this example, object usage is completed. Even though usage is completed, still it is going to use the memory, which is waste of memory for us. Like that, if you are having so many objects which are using the memory unnecessarily, then the performance will get degraded. To develop efficient applications, as a programmer, what we need to do? We need to identify the objects which are no longer required and make that object ready for garbage collection by assigning to null. So make that object assign to null, then this object will be ready for garbage collection. That is the reason, if you remember, in JDBC or IO package, we call close method. Con.close, st.close, we call this close method because we want to make that objects ready for what? Garbage collection. So who should write this all piece of code? Assigning the object, assigning to null, or calling close method? Who has to take care here? Developer only. The developer only should take care of calling these methods. So this is the hectic job to the developers. So that is the place where we use this Spring framework. That's a place where we use this Spring framework, and we do by using Spring IOC container. So we make use of what here? Spring IOC container here. So this is the role of IOC. What is the role? To take care of object creation, lifecycle of object, everything is taken care by Spring IOC container. So you can say Spring IOC container manages the creation, configuration, and life cycle. You can say life cycle of objects. In a Spring application. So it's going to take care of complete life cycle of objects, your IOC container. It uses dependency injection to inject dependencies into objects at runtime. The Spring IOC container injects dependencies into the beans using a constructor injection. Using what? A constructor injection. We have seen, no? It's going to inject using what? A constructor injection or even setter injection. Constructor injection or setter injection. This even we call it as property injection. The IOC container manages the life cycle of beans, including creating, configuring and disposing the objects. So these are the main need of going with this IOC container. So these two terms are very, very important. What is this dependency injection and what is this IOC container here? These two terms are very, very important to understand this core module. So in the next video, we develop the complete application. We develop the complete Spring core application in the next video, right? So please subscribe, like and share. Thank you.